Welcome to the 8th PluginIndia Show and meet Raphae.
And meet Amit.
Thank you for introducing me, Raphae. And
Sure.
you know, Raphae, when we talk about electric vehicle batteries, lithium is the biggest question mark that comes into our minds. And where is the lithium? Does India have lithium, or will we always be dependent on other countries like Argentina, Australia, Bolivia, Chile, and Portugal?
Exactly.
So, you know, or we'll always be dependent, like how we've been dependent on OPEC countries for our petroleum.
Well, Amit, I must tell you, I've been driving an electric car for more than 6 years now, and I have never been to a lithium pump to fill any lithium into my car.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a daily thing.
Yeah, I mean, we charge our cars.
Exactly. And compared to that, the oil cars or the ICE engine cars,
Yes.
they need to go to the petrol pump at least every third day.
To fill
and
oil.
to fill up more oil, to fill up more petroleum.
Yep.
So I don't think there's a fair comparison over there.
Not at all.
At the same time, if one were to just imagine that we converted all the cars in the world to electric.
True.
And they're all using lithium in the batteries.
Yep.
Even that much lithium would only be a fraction compared to how much oil is consumed by these ICE cars on a daily basis.
So let's just say that, you know, people who are raising these questions about electric vehicle batteries and the lithium, they have their own agendas. True. Or they're actually misguided individuals who have very wrong information been given by the mainstream media.
Right.
So now let's move on to the Indian EV news section, and today's first article is about lithium and, you know, sustainable mining of lithium.
Awesome.
For EVs and consumer electronics. And this is a very interesting article that we will be showing you right now. Apparently last year, the world mined about 85,000 tons of lithium for use in consumer electronics and electric vehicles.
Right.
And the world's usable reserves are around 14 million metric tons, while proven reserves amount to be about 62 million tons. So there is a lot of lithium out there, and even if we continue to use lithium ion for the next 20 years, we are good. But I'm sure in the next couple of years, or maybe in the next decade, we will definitely find the right, batteries which will be running on different chemical compositions.
Yes, Amit. Also, the article mentions how mining companies are choosing more sustainable ways of mining lithium by avoiding the evaporation of water and replenishing the groundwater table after the mining is done, which is a fantastic thing.
Yes, they should.
And there is a lot of false information being propagated around the whole idea of lithium and lithium mining.
Fuel.
And it's obviously an agenda by fossil fuel industry, by misguided zealots. And they say that electric car batteries are more dangerous to the environment compared to the extraction of oil. This, Amit, is absolutely false.
Truly.
Consider this. It takes around 6 kilograms of lithium for a Tata Nexon EV battery pack, which is 30 kilowatt hour in capacity.
Yep.
And again, it will take about 500 grams of lithium for an Ather 450X, which is basically 200 grams per kilowatt hour of energy stored in the battery. And do note that the total amount of lithium that is used for the entire life of the battery, which would be 8 or 10 years, as compared to a 5 or 6 years as a storage device. You know, I mean, basically it will be in a car and then it will go into a storage device after that. So 8 years plus an extra 5 years. So that's 13 years will be the life of that lithium which has been extracted for that particular battery. Compare that to around 10,000 liters of oil, which is used by a petrol car in its lifetime of 8 years.
We have to also remember that, you know, crude oil has to be refined to be used as a petrol or any fuel in the cars. Right?
That's right.
And, you know, this refining also consumes a lot of fossil fuel energy required to do the same. Also, you know, when you're transporting oil from one place to another, again, it's energy intensive.
And nothing can be recycled from oil. Once it's burnt, it's gone.
Yeah, and the minerals like the lithium can be actually reused.
Recycled again, right?
Guys, it can be reused. So I have another fantastic news for you, Raphae. I'm going to read this out. Researchers at the Atomic Energy Commission have found lithium reserves of 14,100 tons in a patch of land surveyed in Mandya, which is in India, guys, 100 kilometers from Bengaluru. The present data provides a total estimation of available lithium as about 30,300 tons over an area of about 0.5 kilometer by 5 kilometer, which works out to about 14,100 tons of lithium metal.
Well, Amit, that is just fantastic. It's good news over good news today.
Yeah.
So just quickly let me recap.
Yeah.
So the world consumed 85,000 tons of lithium for everything, like consumer electronics,
electric vehicle batteries,
all of this. Yep. And this find of 14,000 tons of lithium is going to last us for decades.
Yes, it will. And guys, the link to these articles are there in the description below. So go ahead and read them and do not fall into the false propaganda of these oil companies. And own an EV and enjoy the liberation from going to a petrol pump to fill petrol and live a clean life. So Raphae, we're moving on to the second news item of the 8th episode. And you know, the Auto Expo 2020 just got over. And this year, you know, as always, auto companies are very notorious to showcasing the electric vehicles in these expos. But the majority of these electric vehicles never actually even see the day of the light or get into production at all. Or what really matters to many of these companies is just plain Jane PR. You know, because they get a lot of it because they showcase an EV and people want to know what is the next electric vehicle coming by this big petrol company.
That's true, Amit. This is exactly what we felt because the Plug in India team had visited these expos in 2016 and again in 2018. And this time we decided not to send the entire team over. Just let some other YouTube channels cover them, do the walkabouts and the first looks and such content.
Sure. So, but we did get some pictures from Atulji. The link to the photo blog is there right there in the description below. And Raphae, you went through the photo blog, you know, so I was just wondering, do you have any views that you have on the Auto Expo 2020?
Okay, let me just give you the serious ones that I picked out from the photo blog. And it was great to see Tata Motors there because they are really doing something in the EV world. They've launched the Nexon and they showcased the Nexon over there. They also showed us the Altroz hatchback, which will most likely be the next car that Tata launches. And it was very good also to see our good old Mahindra Electric showing the eKUV 100 and the eXUV 300. We want a strong Mahindra Electric to compete with Tata. And we want them to get serious about electric mobility.
Yes.
And it was very nice to see our very own Pune-based company, Force Motors, who unveiled their upcoming commercial electric van. Let's hope they make it available this year and don't play games like the other EV manufacturers. There were also some stalls from Chinese big auto manufacturers here like MG Motors, Haima Automobile, Great Wall Motors. Let's see if they actually want to sell their electric cars here in large numbers or are they just here to dump more dirty pollution cars into India?
Well, you know what? I'm going to take you through some of the funny things that happened at the Auto Expo 2020. So, Renault showcased the Zoe electric car and the Twizy urban electric solution, and they have been doing this for last 2 Auto Expos, I guess. And they were here again.
So they just keep showing it.
So it's been like 4 years. I don't know what's going to happen next. So, you know, I would rather say, like, you know, you can fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice, shame on me. Like, you know, I'm just getting fooled by you guys. Damn. So Haima Automobile, the Chinese maker, has partnered with Bird Mobility Group and has unveiled an electric car for India. If you guys remember, 2 years back at the 2018 Auto Expo, the same company had partnered with a Swedish electric car firm and promised us the Unity electric car by 2020. Now they're promising the Bird Electric EV1 electric car in 12 months or more. Well, I don't see any reason to believe this time. Buongiorno Piaggio, the iconic Italian maker of Vespa scooters, have showcased the Vespa Elettrica again with no intention of launching it for India. They have showcased this at the last Auto Expo too. So, adios amigos, you know, I don't know, until 2022 we'll see it again, but we may not see it in actual reality.
So, Amit, those are some really nice observations.
True.
How these companies are wasting tons of money in EVs. In the Auto Expo.
They're getting it to the Auto Expo.
Exactly.
And they're just not doing anything.
They're developing the prototypes, they're making those models, they're ready to show people. But we don't see any launches happening. So, okay, we can excuse some of the startups like say Unity for instance, because the startups are just getting started. They don't know what's ahead. They might have faced some difficulties. But what about these established ICE manufacturers but they just want to show us the EVs and sell ICE cars.
Yeah.
That's the sad part about all of this.
True. So let's move into our third news item about Ather 450X. And Kamlesh from our team has been following the Ather 450X electric scooter announcement, and his podcast on their controversial pricing was really popular. And after reading the comments on his video, people are extremely disappointed and even angry at some point that the increase in pricing in the subscription plan that Ather 450X has recently announced. And many people actually wanted to buy a Ather 450X, but now with the price increase, it's more difficult, I guess. So Kamlesh wanted to see the Ather side of the story. So he actually met the CEO, Mr. Tarun Mehta, at an open house in Pune, and apparently Ather had no choice but to increase the price because they were actually selling the bike at a loss.
Right.
The link to this article is in the description below. You guys go ahead and read it. And Raphae, actually you rode the Ather 450.
Yes.
And I'm sure you have your own experience about the ride and the pricing controversy.
Yes, Amit. They had conducted an open house session where we were given the scooter to drive and do test rides. And, I've been following this company since its inception. Yeah. And also, I know all the specs and all the details about this bike. I've seen all the, framework and wire models.
Yeah.
But riding it totally blew me away. Wow. It was an awesome experience. It is so smooth in ride mode and so talky in sports mode. It had all the features that I would want in a connected scooter, a connected vehicle for that matter.
Right.
And there was so much attention paid to even the small details where you would put your phone or where you would store your wire.
Nice, that's a very good thing.
Amount of space
you really need that
in
today's bikes and scooters.
So I totally see myself using this kind of a scooter in a very practical kind of fashion. And the only thing that bothers me is that these guys are swimming upstream.
Right.
India needs a lot of such companies.
Right.
And with the ICE manufacturers so heavily established, it seems that this is a tough path for them to tread.
Okay.
The community is expecting them to deliver a really low cost scooter with all high-end features.
Right.
And the amount of pressure on them is tremendous. And I feel it's a really tall order for them to deliver on. If you were to think of trying to fulfill the entire spectrum, somebody who wants to go only from point A to point B in the cheapest manner possible, that's one end. And the other end would be somebody who wants a high-end scooter with all the performance and all the perks that an electric scooter can afford to give you.
Yep.
The community seems to want Ather to deliver the entire spectrum to them in one scooter. Now, that is something which I feel is a tough challenge, and tough challenges are, I think, what good engineers always want to solve. And I hope, my hopes are on Ather. I think they will rise up in some way or the other to this challenge. So from my side, Amit, as an EV enthusiast, somebody who really wants this technology to succeed in India, I would say I'll put my money where my mouth is and purchase a scooter like this and show them that this is something that I want to see in the market.
So the PluginIndia website actually had run a poll on Ather 450X's pricing strategy, and we've had about 350 votes in which there is a very mixed response to it. We have seen that a lot of people have cancelled their booking and won't go for a 450X, and there are many people sitting on the fence. We hope once they test drive the 450X, they would actually change their
it was a mind-changing
opinion and consider the total cost of ownership, and they might actually go for the 450X then. And I would recommend all of you guys to check out the PluginIndia website. The link is given below, where we have actually put the power electric scooter page, and we've compared the Vespa Elegante petrol scooter and the TVS Torque petrol scooter. Right. Finally, I actually want to say that the Ather electric scooter might be one of the best electric scooter experience that you can find in India.
That's true.
And which is comparable to the world class.
Oh yes, it's the best.
And it's imperative that Ather remains there in the market and keep raising the bar, actually, not rising, not just rising, but raising the bar.
Others also, yeah,
and keep pushing other ICE, two-wheeler manufacturers to launch even better electric two-wheelers.
That's true. That's true.
So that is how important Ather is for the entire Indian EV electric scooters or the industry as a totality. So keep going, Team Ather, and the EV community is really proud of your efforts.
TVS Motors has apparently launched an electric scooter, TVS Motors. We've observed that the company has been very anti-EV at every policy meeting it's had over the last few years, but looking at the amount of positive press that the likes of the Ather 450X and Bajaj Chetak are generating, TVS seems to have at last woken up and smelled the coffee. Their TVS iQube seems to have literally materialized out of thin air overnight. The fact that they are selling the electric scooter in only one city and are only aiming for a production of 1,000 units per month is absolutely shameful for such a large company. Mahindra to unveil electric scooter in first quarter of 2020. Oh Mahindra, you had the first mover advantage when you acquired Reva along with its technology, processes and people back in 2010. You also had the Gen Z electric scooter, which you launched in the US alone because, and I quote, India was not ready for e-scooter. So, what made you change your mind? And why should we believe you now? Why Kia Motors isn't bringing electric vehicles to India just yet? The Vice President of Kia Motors India says EVs are expensive, that there is no charging infrastructure, and that range anxiety is a problem. He also says, and I quote, EVs are not an attractive proposition for customers today. 2,000 EV charging points are being installed across India this year by the government. Apparently, that is not enough for Kia India. We get it, your Seltos gas guzzler has sold around 45,000 units and that brings in huge revenues for your company, so why bother innovating? Let Indians keep dying from breathing the hyper-polluted air in our cities. What can you say against this sort of backward thinking? What is the future of electric cars in India? Mainstream media funded by Big Oil sees EVs as a big threat to the latter's business. People charging at home or work won't give their money to these oil companies. Typically, you see a standard media narrative by media companies when it comes to EVs. They always complain about the following: lack of charging infrastructure. Even though 2,000 charge points are being installed pan-India by the government and most users charge at home, whereas fleets charge at their businesses. Second, grid capacity would be an issue. Even though research says that ACs have a larger grid impact than EVs will ever have. 3. Very few electric cars being sold and not enough options to choose from, indicating lack of demand. The whole reason there aren't enough options to choose from is that not all ICE car makers have jumped on board the EV bandwagon. Let them launch 2 to 3 variants in different sizes and different ranges and different price points, and sales will increase correspondingly.
So that was Abhishek with the EV gossip, and you know what? It's sad that these large ICE companies are doing nothing about the pollution of the cities, especially like Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, and all these places are getting clogged, and they have no regards to doing anything or thinking about actually getting some electric vehicles.
Only token launches, they're limiting the production to say 1,000 pieces and in only one city. So it clearly shows where their priorities are. Abhishek is right, it's shameful.
Completely. So moving on to the EV Twitter world, and the first tweet is from Hero Lectro. For those of you who don't know, they are the giant Hero Cycle company, part of the giant Hero Cycle company, and who created a new brand, Lectro, some years back actually, and they've been selling e-bikes. The tweet says, by 2022, Hero aspires to have a 10% share of the global bicycle market. The lean supply chain, futuristic technology, and cost leadership greatly benefits every person who chooses to buy a Lectro.
Well, Amit, if you see the video, you will see that they're actually manufacturing things themselves. They are localizing the battery manufacturer, also the controller, and the frames are also made in India.
Yes.
So
and they look pretty good.
Exactly, it's like pretty world class.
Yes.
So if you have large companies like Hero doing stuff like this, it's only going to be good for the Indian e-bike industry.
Sure, and they've recently launched an e-bike with a Yamaha mid-drive motor. So they have affordable e-bikes, premium e-bikes, and a complete portfolio of everything there. They have made sales of about 15,000 e-bikes in apparently up till now. Wow. And we at PluginIndia really, appreciate the Hero Lectro
the effort they're making towards.
Yes. So moving on to the next tweet is from Niti Aayog, the government think tank. This tweeted this about Pure EV's new electric scooter. So hashtag Niti Aayog member VK Saraswat at DRDO, Indian chairman at IIT Hyderabad, Director B.S. Murthy, launched high-speed electric scooter ePluto 7G, developed at Pure EV India and IIT Hyderabad, which was the incubator startup at IIT Hyderabad campus.
Well, Amit, we love Pure EV and we have tested the 7G extensively, including a range test. And we feel that it's a scooter that offers a great combination of value for performance.
Right. And also we've been told that the company's initial sales of the 7G 7G is promising, and we wish them all the best for further sales. So the next tweet is about Tata Motors, and they tweeted, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highways of India, experienced the hashtag Nexon EV, the electric SUV powered by hashtag Ziptron, at the Auto Expo 2020.
Yes, Amit, and I remember some time ago when Mr. Gadkari had made a speech to all the automakers and told them that either you make EVs or you get bulldozed.
Completely.
So it's great to see our minister happy sitting inside a Tata Nexon EV.
Right.
And it's his push for EVs and his fiery speeches and his vision that has really driven the industry to take EVs seriously.
True. Hats off to Mr. Nitin Gadkari and congratulations to the Tata Nexon EV team. So moving on to the I Have the Power section, where we actually invite our Plug in India viewers to share their electric vehicle experiences with us, and we showcase it on our I Have the Power section at the Plug in India Show. And even if you have maybe set up a community charge point, or you're aware of a community charge point which has come up somewhere near your house and you would like to tell everybody about it, so you know what you have to do. You have to just send us the information at the link below, and you can be featured in the I Have the Power section. And coming to the first one is coming from Shreyas Gupta in Bengaluru, Ather 450 owner who has finished riding his bike scooter for about 5,000 kilometers, and he has a lot to say about his experience. Let's take a look at that.
So he's talked about a lot of things in different grades. Some things he liked, he really liked, he didn't like, he really didn't like. So go ahead, take a look at that. Just for your reference, he has had multiple screen freezes, the LCD display, but none of them affected his ride.
Yep. And you know, he mentioned about his charging, that the bike really charges pretty quickly.
And there's no noticeable drop in range, he says, even after 5,000 kilometers.
Yeah, and no vibration or noise while idling. And he realized this when he rode an ice last month, and there was
That's when he was able to compare.
So he was able to actually feel the difference at that point of time.
Also, he loved riding it during the rains, and I'm assuming this is because of the excellent water wading capacity of an electric vehicle.
Yes.
There is no exhaust which will get drowned in the water. So that could be the reason why he really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and there's a huge list there, so please take a look.
Go ahead. So the second mention that we have to make, Amit, over here is Kamlesh Mundada from Nashik. And he's a really passionate guy. I've been speaking to him on the phone also.
Okay.
And he WhatsApps me his exciting stories.
Right.
So he stays in Nashik. He's got a Revolt RV 400.
Okay.
And while driving around the streets of Nashik, he happened to meet another E20 Plus owner.
Oh, wow.
And they had an instant spark, an instant friendship.
I can imagine. I mean, we've got a lot of friends like these. And congratulations to
you guys.
Kamlesh.
Fantastic.
Karthik from Tirupur, Tamil Nadu is our next person we're featuring on the I Have the Power section. He test drove the Tata Nexon EV very recently, and he has sent us a lot of pictures.
He says that he liked it very much. Yeah. But the only thing that he's really waiting for is to find out the real world range.
Yep, and Tata Nexon EV, as you can see, has a
very
great
good styling.
Yeah, fantastic look, and from outside, inside. Now all we're waiting for is the actual
real world range. When people start using
actual experiences of people now.
Next up is Atul Gopal from Pune. We know Atulji very well. He works with Plug in India as part of our team.
Yep.
And while riding down the road, he met Chaitanya, a 7th standard student who was from Dhyan Prabodhini in Pune, and they both were riding Feliday electric cycles, and both were going to school.
Yeah, so it was like an instant bond.
Exactly. So they same pinch each other. Atulji teaches at the same school as Chaitanya studies.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
And it's so nice that youngsters today are actually adopting the electric movement.
Mobility.
And I would, tell everybody else look at this and go for it. So we have something very interesting in the I Have the Power section this time, and there is this anonymous Plug in India follower who has sent us these two pictures. One is supposedly a Hero Electric new electric bike that's coming in, and the other one in the Auto Expo, and the other one is Hoda Motors from China. And we're going to share both the pictures with you right now, and go ahead, spot the difference and let us know what you have to say in the comments. We would love to hear from you because this is something very interesting. Nothing like this has happened before with us.
Yeah, we're seeing an exact replica of a very big company, which is launching a product and also available in the Chinese market. Right. So
and that's Hoda Moto. So send us your photos or videos for the I Have the Power section, and the link, the email link to the same is mentioned below, support@pluginindia.com.
And go ahead guys, you have the power.
Yes. So Raphae, we're going to talk about a community charge point watch, but this time there are no new developments. But if you know of a new community charge point that has come across in your locality, or if you have a business and you have set up a community charge point, we would love to feature it at the Plug in India show. So do send us the details. The links are mentioned below. And thank you all for supporting the Plug in India show and Plug in India in
general, the entire community.
And thank you our Patreon members and the YouTube supporters. And if you haven't yet subscribed,
please go ahead and click the subscribe button and the bell icon.
Yes, so that you get instant updates of all the Plug in India shows and all the reviews that we do, especially for you guys. Ice out.
And EV